Few weeks ago, I spent over $100,000 flying a room full of software engineers from all across the world to a 5-star hotel in Tokyo, Japan, and I paid for every single bit of it out of my own pocket. They got to stay in private rooms overlooking the whole city. They ate dinners that most people would only ever really see in a movie, and they even got to wrestle with actual sumo wrestlers. But best of all, they all got access to information that the general public would dream of. And this video is not about me handing you a business plan, because I have made countless other videos for that already. In this specific video, what I am going to show you is who these software engineers were before, and the one move that put them in that exact room. So let's get straight into it. But first, let me tell you a little bit about who actually was in that room. Because if you're picturing confident, natural-born founders or 10x developers, then you have it completely backwards. Let's start off with Sandra, one of our founders inside Code to CEO. Before any of this, before joining Code to CEO, she was buried in work, overemployed at 2 jobs, putting in 12 hours a day and trading every single spare hour for a paycheck that had pretty much stopped growing. She had no real time left for the people in her life. And worst of all, she literally had to ask permission to go back to visit her family in Uganda. She will tell you herself that she had become a hermit, the kind of person who just wanted to hide behind the screen and be left alone. Then we have Demir, genuinely talented engineer from the Bay Area. At his company that he was working at, he was the technical guy who pretty much got left out of every single conversation that touched money. He himself did not even think that it was allowed for somebody like him to think past writing code, let alone closing and selling deals one day. We have Balazs, a senior engineer who is seriously good at what he does, but he was stuck in a very brutal loop. Every single time one contract ended, he lost weeks chasing down the next one and the next one and the next one, with no real control over where the money actually came in from. But he is talented enough to charge well, and he managed to turn that talent into something still relatively stable. And last but not least, we have Marco. He had the safe job at Microsoft in his 20s that everybody would tell you to go and do. And the case in point here is that none of these people were special. And I mean that because that's the entire point. They were all stuck in their own ways, sidelined, and most of them were quietly scared that they had already missed their shot to do something big. And that might be the same exact place that you watching this video might be sitting in right now. So how does a room like that end up flying across the world to Tokyo? Well, this is where it gets good. They flew in from all over the world, from Eastern Europe, from America, from India, people from all over the world who spent their entire careers behind a screen in a bedroom or in an office somewhere, and they came to Tokyo. Some of them had flights that were over a day long. And then they got to walk through the doors of the Four Seasons in Otemachi, Tokyo. They had the whole city under their feet for a few days, with nothing to stress about because every single detail was handled for them. And here's the thing that I need you to understand about this particular trip, or let's call it mastermind. I did not spend this money for a vacation for them, and I did not do it to show off either. I did it because of what being inside that world does to a person, a software engineer at that. It quietly resets what you believe you deserve. And I want you to think about it like this. When you live at one level your entire life, that level simply becomes normal to you. You stop questioning it entirely. Your salary becomes normal, the desk becomes normal, the day-to-day routine becomes normal, the ceiling on what you can earn becomes normal. Asking your manager for permission to take a Tuesday off becomes normal. And everything just turns into the water that you swim in. And after a while, you forget that there's anything else out there for you. But then you step into a completely different world. Even if it was just for a few days, you genuinely cannot unsee what you saw. Your whole baseline begins to shift. The life that you used to put up with suddenly starts to feel small. And you go home wanting more. But not more in some greedy, never satisfied type of way, but more in the way that you finally felt what was actually on the table for you. And now you cannot pretend that it is not there for you to grasp. And you cannot buy this feeling in a course. You cannot get it from watching a video, including this one. You have to stand inside it yourself. You have to experience it firsthand. And the second you do, the old version of your life quietly stops being good enough. That is exactly what happened to every single person in that room for the Code to CEO Mastermind. They flew back home and they worked harder than they ever had before. And this was not because I was standing over them constantly pushing them to go further and further. Sure, I did my part, but it was mainly because they had tasted it. And now they knew exactly what they were building towards and what they wanted out of life. So how did completely normal software engineers get into that room in the first place? Well, it really came down to one particular move. And it is so simple that it is almost going to annoy you. But let me make this real before I actually say it. Let me explain what each person actually did. Marco had that job at Microsoft and he actually walked away from it. He did not leave to work less. He left to go build something that was actually his. And he will tell you straight up that his biggest fear was that what if the whole thing, the whole side venture, the whole entrepreneurship journey he goes on turns out to be a huge waste of time. He was scared out of his mind and he did it anyway. And within a month, he was building the company that he actually wanted. And today, he is a C-suite exec in a startup running with a real team behind him. Take Chris. He had a meta interview sitting right in front of him before he decided to apply for the Code to CEO. And of course, taking the meta interview was the safe and obvious choice. But instead, he bet on himself and joined Code to CEO instead. And here's what gave both of them, Marco and Chris, the confidence to do that. Because it is the same thing that I'm going to tell you right now. The downside, the risk, is nowhere near as scary as your brain is making it out to be. Worst case, you try it, you try to go on the entrepreneurship journey, it does not work out, and you go back and get another job. That is the floor, and it's a pretty soft one. But the longer you wait to take this step, to take this jump, the heavier it's going to get. You're going to take on more bills, you're going to have less energy, you're going to have more responsibility, and you're going to have more people counting on you. A whole industry is shifting right underneath your feet while you sleep, waiting for the perfect moment that is never going to come for you. So that is the move here. Marco and Chris both bet on themselves before they felt ready. Now, understand that taking the step is one thing, but making it stick is entirely another. And this is the part that nobody actually warns you about. Every single person in that room points to the same answer, and it is the room itself. It is the people around them. Balazs talks about the weekly calls and the people who pick up the phone the second he gets stuck. Chris says that being around people doing the same exact thing is what finally killed his imposter syndrome. Once he watched another individual next to him pull off exactly what he wanted to pull off, he knew that he could do it too. That room, that community, is the entire reason that Code to CEO exists. If you as a developer are tired of being the only person you know who is trying to genuinely build something and change the trajectory of your life, this is exactly why I built Code to CEO. There's a link below if you want to take a look, but finish the video first. So let me bring this all the way back to you and how it connects to you, because this is what I really want you to walk away with. Remember Sandra, the founder we talked about in the beginning of this video, the one who called herself a hermit and was terrified of ever doing sales. Well, fast forward to now, and she runs a business doing over $20,000 in revenue, all on her own time. She closes the deals herself, and she even chooses to do more of the sales as opposed to the coding. Then Damir, the guy who got left out of every conversation about money and did not think that he was allowed to think past the code and really get into the business side of things, well, he just closed the $50,000 project entirely on his own. And that one deal is already rolling into something even bigger. And Marco, who was contemplating about leaving Microsoft to go pursue his dreams, well, he now wakes up genuinely excited to build every single morning. Is it more stressful? Maybe so, but he does it with passion now, and he loves what he does. And he also has the freedom to travel. None of these people were more or less talented than you are. They were stuck, they were sidelined, and most of them were scared out of their minds. The only thing they did that's different from you is they took one step before it felt comfortable. Then they let that new world get into their head and they raised their standards for what their life was even allowed to look like. And anybody can make that same exact decision. And that absolutely includes you who's currently watching this video. The people standing in that room in Tokyo are not built any differently than you are. They simply stopped waiting around for permission. And they went and got it for themselves. So I just showed you that all of this is real, with real software engineers who started in the exact same spot that you are sitting in right now. And fast forward, they're now living the life of their dreams, or at least they're on the path to. If you want the how, the specific business that I will start as a software engineer this year, then I broke down the whole thing step by step in this video right here. Go ahead and watch that one next. As always, thank you so much for watching this video and keep pushing boundaries.